Saw dudes, I haven't uploaded an actual video in a really long fucking time, and I apologize for that, but school has just recently started up for me, and because I haven't uploaded in a while and I don't want to fuck up my algorithm and not make as much money, I'm uploading something today. It's better than nothing. We're going to be taking a look at the Blood Orchid patch notes. There's a whole lot of shit happening in this update, like, so much. So I'm going to go through it in as timely a manner as I can, because I have to be out of here to go to class at 10:30, and it's currently 8:30. I'm not going to be able to do a stream on the TTS today in the near future, but for now, the update is coming out September 5th. So if you don't have the season pass, you'll get access to all of these new ops in the update next week, or the week after that, on the 12th. I'm not going to go into my thoughts about how Ubisoft has managed to successfully delay this patch again and again and again to the point where they released it in September instead of August. But there is a significant amount of stuff happening here, and I think it's been worth the wait. Well, kind of, but you'll get the idea. Alright, so, Blood Orchid, Hong Kong themed, SDU, Special Duties Unit. This is the unit that we are seeing in the game. They're the nicknamed the Flying Tigers. I have been curious as to whether or not they're going to implement this group for a long time, because the ESL following in Hong Kong is very strong, and since that seems to be kind of the pattern here with these new operator releases, to release operators from parts of the world where, you know, the game has a pretty big ESL following, which makes sense from a marketing standpoint. This is a perfect fit. It's on a map called Theme Park. It's got 2 floors. It looks like a fucking horror game. It's really cool to see some new content. And basically, you have Softball Mom and Softball Dad. Why have I called these operators this? Well, because Softball Mom has the New Balances and Softball Dad has the cargo shorts. Ying is an attacker. Legion is a defender. Ying has basically a it's like a fuse charge, but instead of going bang bang, it goes flash flash. And Legion has these little mines that he can throw on the ground that have these little needles on them, and they cloak. And then when you step on them, it gives you a damage over time effect, as well as kind of like this sickly green sort of effect, a visual effect on your screen, and you have to take time to like remove the needle from your leg, but that leaves you vulnerable. Ying's, as you can see, she kind of has a special visor here. Ying's super flashbangs, she's immune to them. So take that what you will, you know, basically like run into a room, throw the thing, and then you don't even have to like wait for the flashbang to go off. You can just, you know, storm in and wreak havoc. Ying is the first attacker that I've seen that is being added to the game without an AR as a primary option. Yeah, pretty much. She gets access to the T95 LSW, which is basically an MG variant of this it's the Chinese service rifle. It's the Chinese AR, Chinese AK. It fires a weird kind of like intermediate 5-point whatever the fuck kind of cartridge. It has a pretty big drum mag. I can't really speculate as to the damage or anything like that, or the recoil, but it's a pretty typical intermediate, or it's intermediate. I don't even know if I'm using the proper terminology here. It's basically the typical assault rifle, right? And she gets access to the 612 shotgun, which is a semi-automatic, revolving kind of a bullpup drum shotgun. Interestingly enough here, the distinction between the two operators here and their loadouts. So both of these operators get access to the 612 shotgun, but only Legion, the defender, gets access to the 612 SD, which is this, but it has an internal suppressor, which is interesting. As far as meta goes, like in terms of what guns to pick, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the T95 LSW is going to be Ying's primary weapon of choice, because it's very, very hard for attackers to make shotguns into their like optimal loadout, especially when you only have a semi-automatic handgun as a secondary. Obviously, you got operators like Smoke who have the SMG-11 who can run pretty effectively with the shotgun, and the SAS shotgun is just very good. So I've been watching some footage from people who have access to the TTS early or were recording from Gamescom, and both of the shotguns seem pretty decent. But you have to keep in mind that the reason why automatic weapons are so potent in the meta right now is because they just give you more flexibility in terms of what ranges you can engage people from. So there you have it. That's Ying. She gets access to claymores and smoke grenades. I'm probably gonna run with the claymores. She's medium speed and medium armor character. I'm looking forward to playing her. Legion, like I said, has access to the 612, the silence shotgun, and the T5 SMG, which is basically this, but it's an SMG. You know, pretty typical. Probably gonna find the SMG to be the meta pick here, as usual, because of the secondary being a semi-automatic handgun. He has access to impacts and a deployable shield. Probably gonna be running the impacts, and he's also medium speed and medium armor. It's kind of like how Frost and Buck were released, and they were both 2 speed, 2 armor. Theme Park is this really cool looking map. It looks like a fucking horror game now. I think it looks pretty dope. There's 2 floors. There's lots of asymmetrical fighting. A couple of runouts on the sides. I think it looks really cool. These are the new seasonal skins. I think these look dope. Especially this one and this one. Those are the seasonal skins. Ela Bosak. This is our new Grom Operator. And she's pretty dope. You can read all about her, you know, backstory and whatever the heck. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool that they're giving a little bit more attention to the lore of the game and the characters. Can I get more cinematics, please? Can I get a Netflix Siege series? Ubisoft, anyone? But I'm gonna skip all over this. She gets along with Valkyrie pretty well, I guess. A lot of people not a fan of the green hair. I'm digging it. She looks like a punk rock girl. But I'm a sucker for that. She gets access to the Scorpion Evo and whatever this thing is. Oh wait, no, yeah, this is the double barrel shotgun. I haven't seen anybody use it in the TTS right now. It looks like everybody has been using the Scorpion SMG. It has a absolutely ridiculous rate of fire, pretty similar to Mira's Vector, but it has a 50-round mag. So I don't know. That seems really powerful. I don't know. A lot of people are telling me that this operator is pretty good. And she has access to a pistol that has a reflex sight on it, as well as a green laser light. She's 3 speed. She has access to impact grenades and barbed wire. And her gadget. What the hell is it? Oh, yeah, they describe it here. So her gadget is a mine that she can kind of throw like a potato masher grenade, right? She can throw it and it'll stick to surfaces, and it's proximity based. And people walk into it and then it's all like and so it's very similar to Echo's drone and the effect that it gives to people when you stun people. She can also detonate this mine whenever she's downed. So it looks like this is going to be a very, very powerful roaming/lurking op. I'm I imagine that she can play entry denial very, very well. And especially in combination with the other operators that we have coming to the game, for sure. The health program. So these are all the big patch. These are all the big balance changes that they're doing to the game, and there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna try to go through it in as timely as a manner as I can. With the launch of Season 3, we're putting Operation Health behind us. Thank God. With our largest patch we have ever deployed. In the future, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. So, finally the new upgraded servers. Will they help? Will we... Will this game finally be fixed to a certain extent, I guess? I hope so. It should, quote, further address issues with players teleporting and rubber banding. Doesn't say anything about hit detection there, but what the fuck. Improve lighting, so there's not going to be the situation anymore where you look outside and it just blinds you, which is going to help significantly with the peaking meta. So this is the change that I've really this has been needed for a pretty long time, in my opinion. Some skybox updates, quality of life updates, shading models getting updated, textures, new textures, making the operators look nicer, nicer looking faces. Look at Valkyrie, ain't she a cutie? Hibana's gadget will be now more consistent again. Hit registration and high ping. So this is a pretty big one. We'll be testing fixes and improvements that will aim to address hit registration and poor network conditions. Currently testing something we're calling latency alignment, which will make 1v1 encounters feel more consistent. Whatever that means. The result should be that the server will more accurately mirror the reaction time of players with unstable connections, giving a fairer reaction time to opponents. Good. Awesome. So, I don't know what any of that means, but if it fixes ping abuse, I'm happy. General tweaks and improvements. New smoke grenades and bolt animations. So basically what would happen with the smoke grenades and Capital's smoke darts is that they were rendered individually on everyone's client. Now they're going to be rendered so that what you see is the same thing that another person sees. This is going to be very, very helpful in terms of, you know, actually kind of indirectly buffing smoke, I would say, in a sense, especially for Capital, because I've had a lot of instances where the smoke is very, very useful, and you can use it to blind people's line of sights. But I've had a lot of instances where I will smoke somebody, and doesn't really do anything, even though it looks like they're behind the smoke and they shouldn't be able to see me. They're able to aim at me just fine. This is another big one. ACOGs for defenders. So there will not be a 2 or 3 speed defender that will be able to use the ACOG sight. That's JAGER, Bandit. The German tryhard brothers are basically kind of getting nerfed in a sense here. And the reason that they're doing this is something. The possibility for 3-speed operators like JAGER and Bandit to challenge in the longest distances while being able to relocate very quickly is currently too strong. Okay, so I personally don't think that this is a good change. I don't think that an ACOG was the only thing that allowed JAGER and Bandit to window peek. I window peek a lot with operators like Valkyrie, and she doesn't even have access to an ACOG scope to begin with. You can window peek with Caveira. You can window peek with any operator. And now Doc, Rook, and Echo, I mean, you know, unless you headshot them, they're going to be very, very hard to kill. So, you know, JAGER and Bandit aren't just going to stop engaging it at long distance anymore. I mean, it's gonna deter some people from doing it, but there's still gonna be people that'll do it anyway. It's silly. So, you know, thick boy defenders are gonna be the only people who can use ACOG. That doesn't mean that all of them get ACOGs. It just means that only thick boys on the defending side get ACOGs. Unfortunately, Capcan and Tachanka don't get access to ACOGs on their Kalash SMGs, which I think would be really, really nice. Yubi, please. Yubi, please. Just don't give it to Mira, because Mira really doesn't need it. But that's that. I think that the ACOG scope doesn't really affect the operator meta in as strong a sense as UB seems to think here, but that's just my personal opinion. I thought it would have been interesting here if they had taken away ACOGs from all 2 or 3 speed operators instead of just the defenders, because at least let Jaeger keep it, because he has an assault rifle, and that's sort of like ACOGs just generally work really well on assault rifles because they have really long damage fall off, and it just makes sense. It suits their role. I can get it with Bandit, but I don't. Dumb. I don't like it, but you know, I'll live, right? Big weapon fall off damage redesign. So instead of having individual weapons, have respective damage fall off models, what they're doing is that they are basing it off of the class of the gun. And so that means that DMRs, their fall off starts at 25 and ends at 40 meters. Same thing with light machine guns and assault rifles. Except for assault rifles, their damage fall off ends at 35 meters. Pardon my French. Submachine guns, their fall off starts at 18 meters and ends at 28 meters. Machine pistols, fall off starts at 18 meters and also 28 meters. And then for pistols, it starts at 12 meters and ends at 22 meters. So standardizing the fall off value for every weapon class, except for the shotguns and Glaz's sniper rifle, because obviously Glaz's sniper rifle is unique circumstances. Unique circumstance. The thing about the shotguns is that what UB would rather do is balance each shotgun individually, because each shotgun is, shotguns are a very quirky gun class, and each one has, very unique kind of characteristics about it. So it'd be very, very difficult to implement a change that would affect all of them. Ammo balancing. A lot of operators are getting some extra magazines. In particular, Glaz gets 2 extra magazines. Smoke gets extra magazines for his SMG-11. Everybody gets extra mags for their SMG-11, actually. But you can read up on the on who exactly gets what here, which I think is pretty dope. Attackers can now deploy drones, 2 of them at the same time, and then switch between them. Which I've wanted this to happen for a very, very long time, and I'm a Twitch main, so I've wanted this to happen for a very, very long time, because I think it would add a lot of strategic depth to the game. Maybe not a lot, but just a little bit more, right? Something interesting. First-person camera position will now be closer aligned to third-person. So this will fix instances where the first-person camera basically would lead you to get killed by opponents that you couldn't see, which has happened a lot. It's really annoying. I'm glad they're fixing it. And they're also going to fix the sort of weapon muzzle kind of trajectory inconsistency where the bullet trajectory comes from the first-person camera, so your gun is on your head, and this would result in people being basically able to the head glitch, right? That's what it's called, where you just see the head, but they can shoot back at you, and it basically just fire from super cover, which as somebody who plays games like these very, very logically based, if I just see the head, it's oh, they can't shoot at me back, and then they are. Very annoying. Glad that they're fixing this. Non-replicated debris. Again, this is a whole little client-side thing. This is just this is a little quality of life update where you will see a thing, and everyone else will also see the same thing. So if you, bust out a window or something, you're not going to be able to get spotted by this little piece of glass, because somebody didn't see the piece of glass that was in front of you there. Defender vision filter is removed when going outside. The yellow kind of blurry look that you get when you run outside, they're going to remove that. You're still going to be able to get spotted, so it's not really, I mean, I guess it is a buff, but it's not a huge buff, right? It's still something that you have to kind of take with a little discretion. priority on observation tools for alive players. So if somebody's dead and they're on the camera, if you're alive and you want to use that camera, you'll be able to use the camera. Super, super, just awesome. Awesome. Crosshairs don't turn red on enemies anymore. You know, just little things like that. You can read through the rest of this stuff. This is the big one. This is the really big one. The rank playlist is only going to be offering, from this point forward, ESL rotation maps. This is big. Oh my goodness. I never thought that I would see Ubi do something like this, and I know that I'm gonna catch a lot of shit for this, okay? But I'm really glad that they are doing this, because the ranked, I've said this again and again and again, and I've said this on the Siege Report with Icy Cat and Nukem. What players play in ranked needs to be, or whatever competitive playlist that they have, right? Whatever competitive ladder system that gets to represent the Siege community, the Siege competitive community, not the professional players, but people who are trying to, you know, play at the same with the same sort of, you know, intent as competitive players are playing. It needs to be the same. In League of Legends, in Dota, in CSGO, players get to play, they have the ability to play the same kind of game that the people who get paid to play the game get to do. So this is going to be really, really nice. I think it's going to make for much more competitive and much more interesting ladder games, because Favela is trash, Bartlett is trash, House is trash. Okay, I'm not a big fan of getting, you know, slammed by some team on Favela that has call outs when my team, you know, doesn't really communicate that much. It just happens. This will also make it it's gonna make it so much easier to, you know, actually like do your homework and brush up on bomb sites and stuff like that. It's just gonna be I think the quality of life for the game is gonna improve significantly for the ranked playlist here. I know that a lot of people are complaining about it, you know, because they're like, oh well, I paid money for the game and I should get access to everything in it, you know, and it's like that's not what you're paying money for in a sense, you know. You're not losing access to the content. It's just gonna make, you know, it's like I don't know how else to describe it really. They're like, we're doing it based off of the Pro League stuff. We're doing it based off of what ESL players are saying about these maps. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm not a pro player. I don't care. Whoops. They're like, oh, I'm not a pro player. I don't want to do what the pros do. Okay, well, that's what the casual playlist is for. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. It's ranked. It's the competitive playlist. You know, you can have 3 playlists, I guess, if you want. Casual, semi-casual, semi-ranked, competitive. It's weird, right? This is how it is in CS:GO. Like, if you want to play competitive, you know, you get access to certain map pools. Now, I don't think that Ubisoft should just like cut off access entirely from these maps. I think they're gonna have to do a little bit more with map rotations to kind of improve the quality of life for the game and you know, appease people who would like access to these other maps. Because I think if somebody wants to play on Plane in ranked, or wants to play on Favela in ranked, they should be given the option to do that. And that's what CSGO does, where they have the different rotations where you can pick to play competitive on these individual types of maps. But the nature of competitive FPS is that people are just going to want to play on different maps more than others. Okay, because they're just better designed. It just happens. Like, you're not going to, every single map that you add to a game isn't going to be fucking perfect. Okay, that's just how it is. Every operator that you add to the game isn't going to be meta. Not everything has to be balanced or meta, okay? This is how game design works. Game design's hard. It takes a lot to get something, it takes a lot to get a map in an FPS right. So I'm really, really glad that they're doing this. I think they need to make a couple tweaks to it, you know, to just improve quality of life. But I'm glad they're doing this. Here's the casual playlist. You get Canal, Hereford, Bartlett, House, Plain, Theme Park. So, you know, it's kind of weird. You don't get to play Theme Park in the ranked playlist. But if the map isn't competitive, you know, I'm not really interested in playing it in a competitive playlist. I do like playing though. That's a shame. I really do like playing, because I like playing Glass. But that's that. Favela and University are being, or not University, I'm sorry. Favela and Yacht are being removed from both of these playlists, the casual and the ranked playlist, to be reworked, which I think is very, very much needed. I guess I'll get around to Bartlett someday. I hope. A little bit of a Barbwire Nerf. It's going to be easier to walk through, and it's going to take 2 hits to take it out instead of 3. So you get a 45% reduction in speed instead of a 50% reduction in speed. A lot of people are saying, like, oh, it'll be so cool to see people, you know, be able to use different kinds of gadgets in competitive play. People are still going to use Barbwire. It's still the meta thing. This is the... What? It's nothing. It's nothing. Still, yeah. For most defensive operators, they're a must pick. There's still gonna be a must pick. You know, I don't. This whole concept that barbed wire is it's very strong, yes, but there's still instances where the deployable shield or impact grenades or nitro cells are still very useful. You know, so I think that people just kind of like, again, you know, they're making like good little balanced things, you know, just parts of the game. It's like, it's okay for the game to be this way. It's okay for the game to have this thing, you know. I don't know. It's nothing really. I like that it's 2 hits instead of 3 hits, because that is a little bit strong, and I think it's gonna make it's gonna increase the pace of the game just a tad bit, right? But you still have all these defensive operators, so it's a nice trade-off. Jackal's Hunter Mark pings location more frequently. So instead of having 3 pings over 30 seconds, right? So for 10, every 10 seconds you get a location ping, right? Here it's going to be every 5 seconds for 20 seconds. So you're going to have to move around a lot more when you get tracked by Jackal. I would consider this a buff. A tiny buff, but I would still consider it a buff, because it's going to make it easier to track down an enemy. And that's his job, is to track down roamers and stuff like that. Bandit can now destroy Habana pellets while they fuse, so like while they go off, like, right? While the fidget spinners light up, he can still, you know, put down his shotgun box. And then that's that. Bandit's batteries one-shot drones when they make contact with them, especially with the wire, which is how it was back in the day. And then they kind of changed it. So now they're changing it back to what it was, which I'm really glad to see, because that was sort of what made, that was a little thing that made Bandit a useful pick. IQ doesn't detect friendly gadgets anymore and detects Echo's arm pad while using the yokai. Very, very cool. I would consider this an IQ buff, and yes, totally an IQ buff. I really like how they're making IQ into a more useful operator and kind of incorporating her more into the meta bit by bit. I would like to see, since we have a reflex sight on Ela's on Ela's pistol, I think it'd be interesting to see like a scope kind of thing for IQ's gun, because she's always, you know, running around like this, right? So just an idea. Fuse's cluster charge pathing is more predictable. There's going to be less, you know, well, maybe not less, but hopefully less team killing that happens from fuse charges. The hockey pucks just like bounce off and just go completely out of the way. And some blah blah blah, little things. Glass can't see dead bodies in yellow with the scope anymore. Sledge's hammer's more consistent, and there's a whole bunch of bug fixes. So many bug fixes, like the duck glitch. The infinite duck glitch. I don't know if you know about that. If you don't, you can look it up, and then don't do it. Don't. Now you can't do it in this next patch, but don't. Woo! That was kind of long, wasn't it? All right. So I will be back Friday with the Monty video. I'm gonna try to keep this. Gonna try to keep the Monday, Wednesday, Friday upload schedule as best as I can. You know, I'm in class now, so it's a little bit difficult, but I'm going to upload at least something, even if it's not a totally formatted and totally edited video. Hopefully this will curb your appetite for the time being, and I will see you all Friday. Deuces.